Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Sanjula Babuta from Department of Pharmaceutics, Faculty of Pharmacy, Jamia Hamdard. Today we are going to discuss about a module antiperspirants and deodorants under the paper Cosmetics. Now the objective of this module is to make you know about sweating and sweat glands, the nature of sweat, the microbial flora which is present on the skin, the various causes responsible for the development of body odor, the mechanism of body odor formation, antiperspirants, deodorants, and nowadays the herbal deodorants which have come in the market. Also, we shall be discussing about the novel strategies used to control the body malodor formation. Sweating and sweat glands. Human skin has 2 to 4 million sweat glands. These glands were discovered by Purkinje in 1833 and the term eccrine and apocrine were coined in 1917. Eccrine glands are found almost all over the body, whereas apocrine glands occur in the hair follicle abounding areas, armpits and groin. The density of these glands is varied in the body and it is usually 100 to 200 glands per centimeter square. However, on plantar and palmar surface, it can reach up to 600 to 700 glands per centimeter square. A third type of sweat gland, which is apocrine, was discovered by Sato et al. In 1987. Apocrine gland develops from eccrine gland precursor and has apocrine gland-like structure. The eccrine gland directly opens onto the skin surface. It has a tubular structure which is 4 to 8 millimeter in length and has a diameter of 30 to 60 millimeter. It secretes the fluid in the coil which flows to the skin surface through a duct. On the other hand, apocrine gland does not have a direct opening on the surface of the skin. It has a large secretory portion and a straight duct. The duct of it opens into the hair follicle canal. Both the glands produce odorless sweat. Eccrine gland produces sweat in response to the rising body temperature and controls it by evaporative cooling, whereas apocrine gland produces sweat under emotional stress. Furthermore, to prevent a 10-degree rise in body temperature, only 1% of body weight needs to be evaporated in the form of sweat. Sweating also helps in elimination of lactic acid that is generated in the muscles and prevents loss of elasticity in the skin. Apocrine gland produces milky fluid containing proteins and a wide range of lipids. This fluid, along with the sebaceous gland secretions, come out on the surface of the skin through the hair follicle duct. The lipids and the proteins present in it are metabolized by the microbial flora normally present on the skin and thus smell bad. Exercise, hard work, nervousness, anxiousness, and stress can cause heavy perspiration and hence intense body odor. Normal sweating and body odor are related with lifestyle, but unusual changes in sweating like hyperhidrosis, which is known as excessive perspiration, and anhidrosis, which is little or no perspiration, may be a sign of a medical problem. Unpleasant body odor can be eliminated or reduced using antiperspirants and deodorants. Antiperspirants reduces perspiration by temporarily blocking the sweat flows, whereas deodorants are alcohol-based perfume fragrances and they mask the body odor without affecting perspiration. Nature of sweat. Sweat mainly contains water along with lactic acid, amino acids, and inorganic salts which are present in small amount. Both eccrine and apocrine gland produce odorless sweat in response to heat and mental activity respectively. However, secretion of these glands are different in chemical composition. The chemical composition of eccrine sweat consists of water 99.02%, sodium chloride 0.7%, lactic acid 0.1%, ascorbic acid 0.04%, acetic acid 0.04%, propionic acid 0.006%, caprylic and caprinoic acids in the range of 0.005%, and urea and uric acids are present in trace amounts. The chemical composition of apocrine glandular secretion, it consists of cholesterol 76.2 mg per ml, cholesterol esters 0.9 mg per ml, wax esters 3.6 mg per ml, squalene 0.2 mg per ml, glycerides and fatty acids 19.2 mg per ml, and total lipids 20 mg per ml. Now let us understand about the microbial flora which is present on the skin. The human skin acts as a barrier and protects us from microbes, but it can be colonized by many different bacterial species. It is mainly colonized by four major group of bacteria which are Staphylococci, aerobic corneoforms, propionibacteria, and micrococci. The number of bacteria which are detected in the human skin have been given in the following table. These microorganisms metabolize the protein, amino acids, steroids, lipids, and other waste residues which are present on the surface of the skin. The metabolic activity of aerobic corneoforms result in high levels of strong body odor, whereas Staphylococci species result in low level of odor. In this slide, the number of the bacteria which has been detected in the human skin in the various parts of the body like head, armpits, forearm, back, and forehead have been reported. Causes of body odor. Body odor can be divided into two types as follows: odor that originates from the whole body surface and odor that originates from specific part of the body such as armpit odor, head odor, and foul breath. Sweat starts smelling bad when a sweat along with the secretion from the sebaceous glands and stratum corneum residue are metabolized by the skin bacteria or degraded through oxidation on the skin surface. The degraded products primarily consist of ketones, aldehydes, nitrogen containing compounds, and fatty acids such as propanoic acid, acetic acid, isobutyric acid, butyric acid, and isovaleric acid. The fatty acids that contribute in body odor formation are N-hexanoic acid, methylhexanoic acid, heptanoic acid, octanoic acid, etc., to name a few. 2-neonatal, which is produced by oxidative degradation of unsaturated fatty acids, is mainly detected in sweat of people aging above 40 years, and this is responsible for change in the body odor with aging. Mechanism of body odor formation. Biotransformation of steroids and long-chain fatty acids, cleavage of glutamine conjugates, and cleavage of glycine cysteine conjugates are the major mechanism pathway by which content of odorless sweat converts into odoriferous compounds, and then the sweat starts smelling bad. In humans, 3-methyl-2-hexanoic acid is the most dominant and characteristic compound of the axillary odor. It covalently binds to a glutamine residue to form glutamine conjugate. These glutamine conjugates are cleaved by the action of amino acrylase located in the cytoplasm of Corneum bacterium scratium. The volatile thiols present in sweat is cis conjugates. The enzyme beta lyase cleavage these glycine cysteine conjugates and produce malodor thiol. Propionobacteria and aerobic corneoforms exhibit strong lipase activity that biotransforms squalene, cholesterol, Bax esters, triacylglycerols, unesterified fatty acids, and glyco or phospholipids into volatile fatty acids. However, degradation of long chain fatty acids on the skin surface is only partial, which contribute to malodor. It is proposed that sterol hydrogenase catalyzes the transformation of non-odoriferous precursor molecules into odoriferous steroid derivatives. Antiperspirants. Antiperspirants are personal hygiene products that are applied on the skin to prevent or reduce sweating. They control body odor by blocking the skin pores. They are available in the market in the form of sticks, creams, aerosols, and roll-ons under various brands. They reduce body odor in two ways. Firstly, they temporarily plug the skin pores and prevent the flow of sweat to the skin surface. Secondly, they contain antimicrobial ingredients that reduce the odor-causing bacteria. Basic components and ingredients of antiperspirant. Antiperspirant contains a number of active ingredients and excipients which are added to control or minimize the sweating, impart cooling sensation, and provide a pleasant smell. The use of ingredients and their composition depends on the type of formulation, such as powder, spray, cream, etc. The various components of antiperspirant formulations consist of active ingredients like aluminium chloral hydrate, basic aluminium bromide, basic aluminium nitrate, basic aluminium bromide, zirconyl hydroxyl oxybromide. It also contains hydrophilic carrier or solvent in the amount of 60 to 80%, and the typical examples are water and polyethylene glycol. Suspending oils in the range of 5 to 15%, and examples are isopropyl myristrate, propylene glycol dicaparate, isopropyl palmitate, triethyl citrate, dibutyl phthalate, etc. Suspending agents in the range of 5 to 8% like colloidal silicon dioxide, clarifying agents, solubilizers in the range of 0 to 6% like polypropylene glycol, polyethylene isostearyl ether, propellant in the range of 60 to 90% like butane, isobutane, and propane, antimicrobial agent in the range of 0 to 2% like triclosan, alcohol, fragrance and skin conditioners like glycerine and sunflower oil, and preservatives like methylparaben and propylparaben. Evaluation of antiperspirants. Antiperspirants are evaluated for antiperspirant efficacy, deodorant efficacy, staining potential, and cosmetic acceptability. The first is antiperspirant efficacy. Antiperspirant efficacy of test product can be measured using in vitro and in vivo methods. There are three types of techniques that are used for the determination of antiperspirant efficacy. These techniques include colorimetric, continuous humidity assessment, and gravimetric method. The first is the colorimetric method. In this method, the extent of color formation is observed. An anhydrous indicator is applied on the skin which gives the color when sweat is produced. The color is produced in the form of dots, and each dot corresponds to a sweat gland. However, this method has some disadvantages. Firstly, it is not a quantitative evaluation method, and secondly, it is only applicable to flat accessible areas such as the back or the forearm. The second method which is used is the gravimetric method. This method is based on the principle that ratio of sweat produced in both axilla of an individual is reasonably constant. After a control period, one axilla is treated and the change in the ratio is measured. The study is carried out in a hot room to induce perspiration. A pre-weighed absorbent pad is held in the axilla for a fixed interval of time. Then the change in the weight of the pad is measured as a function of perspiration. This method is direct and convenient. The third method which is used for the measurement of antiperspirant efficacy is the continuous humidity assessment method. It is based on humidity of air in a cell held under the arm. It is useful in axillary sweating measurement. This method is fully quantitative. The drawback of this method is that the movement of subject is severely restricted. In addition to it, the adaptation to normal conditions of use is not really feasible. The second test which is done is the deodorant efficacy test. Deodorant efficacy of the product is evaluated by comparing the effect of test product with another deodorant on an individual. Auxiliary odor is judged by panel participants or by trained judges or both. Length of deodorant effect is also determined by judging the auxiliary odor at different time intervals. The third test is the staining potential test. Aerosol type antiperspirants may cause staining of fabric, mostly in the axillary area. Therefore, antiperspirants are evaluated for staining potential. The staining potential of formulation can be tested by applying the product directly to the fabric. However, this is not a satisfactory procedure because it does not reflect the actual use condition. Now let us understand about deodorants. Skin can be colonized with large number of bacteria. These bacteria metabolize the waste material which is present on the surface of the skin in the form of sweat and sebaceous gland secretions. So inhibition or deactivation of body odor caused by bacteria is another strategy for deodorization of skin. Deodorant contains antimicrobial and antiseptic substances such as formaldehyde, boric acid, ethanol, hypochlorite, etc. They reduce or eliminate the body odor by preventing the action of bacteria on the perspiration and masking the offensive odor with a pleasant one. However, the normal skin flora protects us from bacterial infection caused by the foreign pathogenic bacteria. Triclosan and ethyl hexyl glycerine are synthetic substances that are used widely as deodorants. Since triclosan is chlorinated compound, it may accumulate in the environment. Further, it may affect endocrine system and may also cause cross resistance in the microorganisms. Therefore, deodorant industry is looking forward for safe and effective deodorants. Usnic acid, which is a natural substance obtained from the plant Usnea barbata, has antimicrobial activity and is now being used as an active compound in deodorants. Before coming to the evaluation of deodorants, let us understand the basic components and ingredients of deodorant formulation. Deodorants are available in the market in the form of spray, sticks, powders, creams and lotions. They contain a number of ingredients along with antimicrobial or antiseptic agents or both. The various tests which are used for the evaluation of deodorants includes the sniff test. It is used to determine the deodorizing effects of formulation. This test is performed on 20 subjects. The participants includes healthy women and men of about 39 years with well discrete body odor. Body odor of the subject is determined by trained specialists and is categorized into following categories: non-detectable, slight, detectable, strong, and very strong. Body odor is measured at different time intervals and is compared with the initial odor value, and the odor reduction is calculated by the formula given below. The second test which is done is the skin irritation test. Simple epicutaneous patch test and repeated epicutaneous patch test are performed to determine skin irritation. These tests are conducted on 50 subjects. The treated area is observed for formation of erythema, rashes, and edema. On the basis of the result, the formulation is classified as non-irritating to skin or irritating to skin. Herbal deodorants. Deodorants based on crude herbs, their extracts, essential oils, and naturally derived compounds are now available in the market. They offer alternative solution for synthetic antiperspirants and deodorants. The herbs containing flavonoids are most commonly used in the body odor treatment. They exert the deodorizing activity via the antimicrobial activity. Moreover, they inhibit the androgen receptor and have minimal toxicity. Moreover, the herbs and their extracts that have antimicrobial activity towards the malodor producing microorganisms are used in the deodorant product development. The herbs which are being used in the formation or the formulation of the deodorant product have been enlisted in the following table. The mixtures of these herbs are available in the market as deodorant sprays, powders, creams, sticks, gels, lotions, and soaps. The novel strategies to control the body odor, O-acylserine and theanine compound based deodorants give neutral or pleasant odor by inhibiting malodor producing enzymes such as amino acylase and cystathione B lyase. Similarly, resveratrol and epigalactocatechin 3 gallate inhibit the expression of androgen receptors and thereby prevent body odor. Furthermore, tunacamicin, amphotericin, etc. are apocrine secretion odor binding protein inhibitors. They inhibit the formation of N-linked oligosaccharide, which is essential for glycoprotein synthesis. Through this mechanism, they are involved in apolipoprotein suppression and prevent body malodor. The nutrient deprivation approach has emerged as another novel strategy to control the body malodor. A deodorant consisting of butylated hydroxytoluene and diethyl triamine pentacetic acid control body malodor by depriving the iron which is needed by bacteria as food source. It has been reported earlier that exoenzymes are involved in steroidal axillary malodor. The inhibitors of these enzymes can also be used to control body malodor. In addition to them, the body malodor can also be controlled using specially designed fabric. Textiles pre-coated with triethylenoamines fiber give antimicrobial properties to the fabric which diminishes the offensive body odor. So students, let us summarize what we have learned in this module. Eccrine glands are found almost all over the body, whereas apocrine glands occur in hair follicles abounded areas, armpits and groin. These glands are different in their anatomy and produce odorless sweat in response to a stimuli. Eccrine gland produces sweat in response to the rise in the body temperature, whereas apocrine gland produces sweat under the emotional stress. Sweating plays a very significant role in controlling the body heat as well as it helps in eliminating lactic acid that is generated in the muscles. The sweat secreted by apocrine glands contains water minerals, proteins, and wide range of lipids. Sweat starts smelling bad when the secretion of apocrine gland along with the sebaceous gland secretion is metabolized by the microbial flora normally present on the skin. Unpleasant body odor can be eliminated or reduced using antiperspirants and deodorants. Antiperspirants reduces the perspiration by temporarily blocking the sweat pores, whereas deodorants contain antimicrobial agents and fragrance. They mask the body odor without affecting perspiration. Antiperspirants and deodorants are available in the market as sprays, powders, creams, sticks, gels, lotions, and soaps. Herbal deodorants offer an alternative solution to the synthetic antiperspirants and deodorants. They are flavonoid-based formulation and exert deodorizing effect via antimicrobial activity. Further, use of inhibitors of malodor producing enzymes, nutrient depriving agents, and textiles pre-coated with trialkanol amines have emerged as a novel strategy to control the body malodor. Thank you.